This next piece of machinery is a 20-inch planer, and a very valuable piece of machinery that I use. It's very heavy. Um, it's got a table here that moves up and down. It'll go down and up to accommodate the thickness that you need in planing down both sides of a billet for a guitar body, no matter what shape it is. Um, so this particular width here should be about 20 inches, so that means I can get a 20-inch piece of lumber in there to mill down. What I use this for is, let's say I glue two pieces of mahogany together. I've joined them, and there's a center seam, and the two pieces might be two 9-inch pieces, so it gives me an 18-inch billet. Well, sometimes the joint doesn't really come out perfectly smooth, so what I do is I run the blank through here several times on both sides just to even out the surface, and it comes out really smooth. So I use it for planing down the body blanks. I use it for planing down laminated maple for, let's say, a neck through. I might glue together 2 or 3 pieces of hard rock maple that are long, and I can run this machine. I can run the wood through this machine, and it'll pretty much parallel and level out both sides, or all sides that I actually run through. Very, like I say, very valuable piece of machinery. Let's say I get a rough piece blank of mahogany like this, and I want this side to be smooth, or maybe it's got some scoring checks or whatever, or maybe I just want to take it down 1/8 of an inch. I'll run it through here, and I keep adjusting using this wheel here. I keep adjusting the table height to give me the amount of cut that I want, and I will reach my desired thickness. Sometimes the lumber that I get is real rough, so this is a machine that planes the sides that you want very smooth. So it's very heavy, probably weighs, I'd say, between 800 to 1,000 pounds. I put these caster frame on the bottom just to be able to push it around. One note of interest: if you ever make a caster frame for your machinery to sit on, use metal wheels on the bottom. Don't use hard rubber, because they will kind of collapse, and it makes it hard to push the machine around. But it's a 3-horse single phase motor on here, and it runs on 220. And so, like I said, I've had a special outlet to accommodate this heavy machinery. But very useful. It just makes life a lot easier for me in building and fabricating my guitars. Okay, let's move on to one more item. The other item that I wanted to talk about, it's a air compressor. And I pretty much got a big one here, and this thing holds all the pressure that I need to run my overarm pin router. It gives me compressed air for spray painting. I can adjust the amount of pressure for each type of gun that I use. If I need compressed air just to blow things off, this is the compressor that'll do it. It's automatic, and it runs on 220. It's very loud, and believe me, when this thing kicks on, it lets everybody know, hey, I'm pumping air, I'm sucking in air. but it gives me all the pressure that I need. I've had it for a while. They last a long time. Some of these pieces of equipment, you might want to get, I don't want to call it an overkill, but let's say a substantial size motor and capability, overall capability of the piece of equipment. Because if you, I mean, you can do one thing where you can step grade. You can buy a small piece of machinery that'll work, then upgrade it to a higher one and that'll work, then another one which will work, and then you eventually get to the desired size of machinery that you want. Well, you're spending all kinds of money, so maybe it's better to get the good one right off the bat and it'll last you for years. But I understand you need to get buy something that's based on what you can afford. So, you know, that's a decision you kind of have to make on your own. But I've learned through the years that if you just buy something good, it will last you for a long time and you won't have to upgrade till years later. If you buy something small and cheap, it may not be able to handle the workload you want it to do. It might break down on you. But the good thing about all this machinery, being a sole individual fabricator, I don't run everything 24/7. One day I'll use the bandsaw, next day I'll use the overarm router. I don't even use this air compressor all the time. So my machinery has lasted me a while and it'll last you a while, you know, because you're just using them one at a time as opposed to being a regular shop that's producing production and, you know, things have to run 8 hours a day. That's totally different. I've been down that road. I've worked on those under those circumstances. It's a totally different ball game. What I do now is a little more relaxed, a little more refined. I have tons more concentration. I give myself plenty of time to do my work. So, you know, for me, it works great. Everybody's got their own avenues they're going to take, and that's fine. So anyway, I guess that's going to conclude the big machinery that I use. And I wish you all the best in your process of acquiring a lot of this gear. It will really save time, help you out, and make your life a little easier when it comes to fabricating wood and fabricating custom guitars. So anyway, you guys have a good time in your endeavors in building guitars, and make it fun. Don't turn it into a job. Put on some music, run your machineries, cut your wood, do your routing, use your bandsaw. One other thing I might want to point out is that when you're running this machinery, it can get pretty loud. So the way to combat that is to just get some earplugs or whatever you want to wear to kind of calm down that loudness. You know, you certainly don't want to hurt yourself, you know, so the eye goggles, the face mask, respirator, earplugs, gloves, you know, tighten up your clothing, and you'll be in good shape. All right, well, listen, I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Thank you, and you take care. Bye-bye.